Hey everybody! So today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that is I want to talk to you guys about something that's very near and dear to my heart. I'm sure a lot of people know I have been dealing with depression for a very long time. Depression and anxiety, and I just recently went probably a year ago, which doesn't seem recent, but it's pretty recent, to get help with it. And after this long journey, and seeing all these things, I got really annoyed the other day because I saw an article that someone had shared that said something along the lines of like what not to do if you want people to really believe that you have depression or something. It was written by someone's online article, and there was one part where it said something along the lines of, one point was, if you have it, don't post about it on social media asking for help, because then you're just seeking attention, and don't bring it up or talk to people about it because then you're just looking for attention. And directly after that was a point that said, so the second point essentially said, if you have depression, you'll reach out and try to fix it. And if you don't, then you don't really want to fix it. And I got really upset because those two things contradict themselves so much. And I don't think that people realize that sometimes when you do post on Facebook, that might be your last chance to kind of reach out if you don't feel like your family or friends or anyone else really understands. And I understand that mental illness, not just depression, is very romanticized in today's society in a way that it very much shouldn't be. And it's hard to kind of relate to people because you really don't know what everyone else is going through, and therefore it is hard sometimes to open up to people about your depression or anxiety or your mental illness, based on the fact that a lot of people will judge you if they do not feel that they have it themselves, and if they do feel that they have it but they actually don't, they'll try and overcompensate for it, and it'll become a pissing contest where essentially you're opening up to them and they're just pissing on your fire with their own fire. And I recently had a friend over and we were talking, and I told her that one time someone asked me to describe what depression was like because they didn't have it. And I don't mind talking about these things. I think that it's important to have discussions about it and be able to talk about it. And I told her that the way I described it was, having depression is like waking up every single day and drowning, and everyone else around you can breathe except for you. And every single time you ask for help, the people who are outside of the water breathing are just telling you, just take a deep breath, you'll be fine, just take a deep breath. And every time they say that, they're pushing your head a little farther under the water. Every time they're saying, take a deep breath, it's gonna be fine, you can breathe, just take a deep breath. If you just stay positive. Every time someone says something along the lines of, you just need to be positive, it's all in your head, you don't know how bad other people have it. When you say things like that, it's essentially pushing that person underwater and telling them to breathe, even though it's physically impossible to do. And eventually, they're not gonna wanna try anymore because they're not gonna wanna ask for help, because every time they do, someone's gonna reach out and tell them that they just need to stay positive. And I don't think that a lot of people realize that a lot of us are staying positive, and if we weren't staying positive, you wouldn't want to know where we would be. Which is a really dark thought, but honestly, I mean, if I didn't stay positive every day, I wouldn't be here as of like, I don't know, probably once every year, there would be a pretty detrimental time in my mentality where I wouldn't be here if I wasn't remaining at least the slightest bit positive. And I don't know, and I understand that if you don't have these mental illnesses, that you can't comprehend why this person can't just wake up and think today's gonna be a great day and then just have a great day. Or when something bad happens, you can't understand why they just can't look past it and keep moving. But that doesn't mean that it's not actually happening. Just like, here's an example. You have food in your fridge, but there are people who are starving somewhere in the world. You don't take that food out of the fridge and look at them and say, well, I have this food, which means you have the power to have food, so I'm not gonna help you because you can help yourself get food because that's what I did. And that kind of thinking is the thing that really pushes people to not want to ask for help, and then things can just go terribly. And I'm not saying that that means that you should ever blame yourself, because people are always fighting battles that you may not be able to help with, and that's just something that you have to accept. But even just being there and listening, even if you don't give advice, can be a huge stepping stone for someone who needs the outlet and hasn't received a person who is willing to give that to them. And the reason I'm calling this video Depression and Why It Means You're Important is because of a video like this, where I have depression and I have taken it, and over the past couple years I found a way to incorporate it with who I am. I still have really terrible days, and that's gonna happen no matter what. But I also have days like today where I'm just feeling like maybe I should use it as a platform to talk to other people and maybe help someone else out with what they're dealing with. And I just want to open the door up. I know I've said this before, but I want to open the door up to anyone who does need that outlet, and let you know that I'm here. And honestly, I'm not someone who you tell something to and then it gets spread around, and I'm not someone who you tell something to and then a week later I don't want to talk to you anymore because I'm judging you. I'm not that kind of person. So if you ever need an outlet, I am here, and my door is always open, and you're always welcome to vent or talk. And I just think that it's really important for everyone to have that person, even if you don't know me. I just think it's really important to have that person. And I wanted to open the floor up to anyone else who feels the way that I do about their depression, that you're important because you can help people who don't feel the way that we do about our depression to get better, because we understand. You might not understand the exact feelings that this person is having, but you can understand on a level that maybe people without it can't. And this means that you are so important to people who also have mental illnesses, because you can relate and you can open up and you can talk about it in a way that a lot of people can't. And the conversation about depression and anxiety and suicide and everything else in under the moon is all so important. It's so important to talk about, and it's so important not to avoid it because you're afraid of somebody judging you. Because if you talk to the right people, they won't. And it's just really important to get a support system behind you, which is hard to find sometimes. But you can start with me. You can start with me, you can start with anyone who you think will understand. And if they don't, you know what? Just cut them out and try someone else. It's hard to be vulnerable, but sometimes it's the best thing that you can do for yourself and somebody else. Because you never know who else is hurting. And I make it my mission to make sure that other people don't feel like I do, which is the whole point of this video. So I hope I didn't talk too long. I hope I actually said things that were important instead of just talking. I feel like I just did a lot of that. But yeah, the whole point was that I just think it's really important that you do get help, and if that help includes posting something to Facebook or talking to someone about it, don't be uncomfortable, because it's very important for your health, and if they don't see that, then you're talking to the wrong people, and you can find the right people. They're out there. We're out there. We're here for you, and we want to help. So yeah, I guess I will wrap that up here, and I hope that you guys have a good day, night, evening, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you guys next week. All right, bye.